If you've been wondering why homes still feel scarce and pricey in the valley, even though you keep hearing population growth is slowing down, I want to show you something that changes the whole conversation. It's not about how many people are moving to Phoenix, it's about where they're moving, how they want to live once they get here. Stick with me because this explains almost everything happening in our market right now. Hey there, I'm Suri Atkins. I'm a real estate agent here in the Phoenix Valley. I work with people all over North Phoenix, including Glendale, Peoria, Cave Creek, and Scottsdale. And a lot of my clients are either right sizing or downsizing into their next chapter or looking for that perfect horse property on the edges of the valley. And before we dive in, if you're wondering what your home might be worth, I have a link in the description below. There's also a mortgage calculator as well. So if you're a buyer and you're curious what the rates are, that link is also in the description. So go ahead, check them out when you're ready. All right, so let's dive in. Today I want to talk you through something that just came out in the recent U.S. Census release tied to the country's 250th anniversary. It's a really simple idea, but once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere in our local market, from Peoria to Queen Creek, even as far as Buckeye. Here's the headline. The U.S. population is still growing, just not evenly, and some regions, especially parts of South and Southwest, including Phoenix, keep pulling people in across every age group. Meanwhile, other areas are growing slowly or even losing people. And within metro areas like ours, more of that growth is happening in the outer edges instead of the traditional urban core. So let's break down why this matters for you, whether you're buying, selling, or just trying to make sense of what's happening to home prices around you. Here's the mistake a lot of people make when they look at population data. They see the growth rate cooling off and think, great, this means more homes available, prices ease up. But that's not really how it works. Housing demand doesn't track the total population. It tracks people's decisions, whether they are where they want to live, how much space they need, and what kind of home actually fits their life right now. Think about it like your closet for a second. Even if you never buy a single piece of clothing, your wardrobe still changes when your life changes. New jobs mean new clothes. New climates mean new jackets. New season of life means different needs entirely. Housing works the exact same way. A young professional moving to Scottsdale for a tech job needs something completely different than a retired couple relocating from California who wants a single level living a home with no yard work. A growing family in Glendale needs more bedrooms. An empty nester from North Phoenix might be ready to leave their 5-bedroom house and simplify. None of those moves show up as a more population. They show up as movement. And movement is what actually drives what gets built, what gets renovated, and what gets fought over in bidding wars. That's the real story behind our market. It's never just how many people, it's which people moving where, needing what. This isn't a new problem. It's been part of the American story since the beginning, and it shows up in waves. Go back 100 years when homes were built to match the economy of the movement. Industrial towns, rail hubs, manufacturing centers. Pittsburgh is a classic example. The city grew up around industry that anchored both jobs and the housing. When the industry faded, the housing didn't just vanish, but demand for it shifted somewhere else entirely. Here in the Valley, we've watched our own version of this play out in real time. Think about what's happening with Intel's expansion, the semiconductor investing coming into Peoria with Amkor and TSMC's build out in North Phoenix. I've been talking about it on my social media. I've talked a little bit about it here on this channel. Entire pockets of the West Valley are being reshaped because thousands of workers need somewhere to live near those job centers. That's not population growth in abstract. That's targeted demand landing in specific zip codes. The same pattern shows up in these types of homes as we build, not just where. Duplexes and smaller multifamily houses used to be common in a lot of neighborhoods. Over the decades, we've swung hard toward big single family homes out in the suburbs. And now that the pendulum is swinging again, more interest in smaller, more flexible, more affordable homes, such as casitas, lock and leave properties for folks who travel or want less upkeep. But here's the catch. The supply hasn't caught up with that shift yet. Housing lasts 40, 60, 100 years. Lifestyles and preference change every 10 to 15 years. That gap between the build decades ago and what people want to live in today is exactly what keeps the demand for new construction alive, even in slower growth environment. So let's bring this all the way home. Why does the street feel like it has zero inventory while the neighborhood 20 minutes away has homes sitting on the market? It comes down to match, not volume. One area might generally feel more housing than it needs for its current population. Another area, often the ones closest to new employment centers or lifestyle draws, is scrambling to keep up. One part of the valley might be overloaded with big single family homes, while buyers there are actually hunting for something smaller, more affordable, or more low maintenance. This is exactly why I tell my clients that the medium home price headline never tells the whole story. A right-sizer buyer in North Phoenix looking for a single level home with no stairs is competing in a completely different micro market than the first-time home buyer hunting for something affordable in Glendale or a horse property buyer looking for acreage out past Peoria. For builders, this means success isn't about building more anywhere. It's about building the right home in the right location for the households actually moving there. For local policy, it's a reminder that when zoning and regulations get too rigid, they lock the housing stock in place while the population needs keep shifting underneath it. That mismatch doesn't fix itself, it just gets wider. Here's what I want you to walk away with. If you zoom out over the 250 years of American history, one pattern never changes. This country is always in motion. People relocate, industries rise and fall. The way we want to live evolves generation to generation. Housing demands follows everyone to those changes. It doesn't disappear just because national population growth slows down. It simply takes a new shape in a new place for a new kind of household. So the real question isn't, do we need more housing? It's, are we building the right housing in the right places for how people actually want to live today and how they want to live 5 or 10 years from now? That's the lens I use with every single client I work with, whether you're downsizing into your next chapter, hunting for that horse property with room to breathe, or just trying to figure out, is now the right time to make the move in the valley? If this is the kind of breakdown that helps you actually understand what's happening in the market instead of just reading scary headlines, that's exactly what this channel is for. I break down Phoenix Valley real estate in plain English, no jargon, Um, if this is the kind of breakdown that helps you understand what's happening in our market instead of reading the scary headline, that's actually what this channel is for. I break down Phoenix Valley real estate in plain English, no jargon, no fluff. So do me a favor, hit subscribe and turn on those notifications because I've got more of these market breakdowns every single week. If you find this helpful, drop a comment and let me know what part of the valley you're watching. North Phoenix, Glendale, Peoria, Cave Creek, or Scottsdale. Wherever you are, I love to see you in the next video. I'm Suri Atkins, and let's start your next chapter with confidence.